Welcome to Nasdaq TradeTalks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me for the segment, we have Alex Coffey, Market Strategist at TD Ameritrade, to discuss the August reading for the Investor Movement Index. The IMX is TD Ameritrade's proprietary behavior-based index aggregating Main Street investor positions and activity to measure what investors actually were doing and how they were positioned in the markets. Alex, it's great to see you as always. Welcome back to Trade Talks. And it looks like, again, they dialed up their exposure a bit to the markets.
Yeah, no doubt. And I love that you say again, because I think this particular metric and reading is most useful when you look at it on a trend basis. But for the month of August, it is up to 5.7, which was up just over 3% month over month. But this marks basically every month year to date, and really back till the October to November of 2022 period, where this particular reading has not gone down. There were two periods of time, both November, December of last year, and then early this year where it went sideways. But exposure ramping up slowly but surely, now back to more moderate as you look at the kind of historical range from the lows that we had seen to the highs that we had seen in November of 2021.
And you know what, when we take a look at the buys and the sells, to be honest with you, the buys did not surprise me, kind of a little bit more typical than we normally see as compared to the past couple of months where it's really been a mixed bag. I think they were all of our big magnificent seven names with the exception of Disney.
Yeah, and when you look at the buys, I think it's important to note that actually during August, the overall market was down a little bit, slightly, but it was almost like paper cuts. There was never significant selling on any day. There was a slight uptick in implied volatility, but you didn't see VIX over 20, for example, or you didn't see vol Q spiking higher. It was moderate increases, moderate selling. And TD Ameritrade clients saw this as an opportunity to buy into some of these names, the Apples, the Microsofts, the NVIDIAs of the world. And I thought NVIDIA was particularly interesting because we've talked about this, several months throughout our coverage of the IMX, Jill, where NVIDIA had actually been one of the most net sold names for much of 2023, as TD Ameritrade clients were buying this up in late summer and fall of 2022 when the stock was struggling. So re-increasing exposure here in NVIDIA after the big earnings that didn't lead to that massive staying power in that rally as it turned around after going over 500 briefly.
Yeah, and the sell was kind of as expected. These were, a mixed bag as well. You typically tend to see more of a variety on the sell side, I think so anyway.
Yeah, a couple that stuck out to me were CCL, so Carnival Cruise and Airbnb. Reasons being is these are stocks that had largely done well in 2023, both alongside the overall market, and some of their tech peers struggled a bit in the month of August, particularly post earnings in the case of Airbnb. But these aren't necessarily names that investors maybe trust as much as they trust an Apple or a Microsoft. So they're willing to kind of be involved while they're doing okay, but on those first signs of a little bit of wobbliness, these are typically names that we'll see rotation out of. And that, of course, we saw in the month of August. But notably, Meta, not like its mega cap tech peers of NVIDIA, Apple, and Microsoft, did not get the same love as it was net sold as well. But also a stock that had done quite well, and some rumblings of Threads not maybe living up to the expectations that were set out for it could have weighed on some of that sentiment.
All right. Appreciate the insight. As always, Alex, thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.